Hey, how is it going, guys? This is Iceberg. Today I'm reviewing a really interesting IEMs designed for gaming, watching movies, listening to music with 3D vibration feedback, and that's the CVJ Shadow Blade. As you can see, these IEMs are equipped with a vibration unit and a dynamic driver at a nice price of around $70. And for that money they promise to blow your mind. In a good way, of course. Well, let's find out if this vibration is worth your attention or it's just hype. Let's go! And before we begin, I wanna thank Hi-Fi Choice Store for providing the Shadow Blade. All the purchase link you'll find in the description below the video. I'm not affiliated, so my impressions are honest and unbiased. So let's move on to the review. Well, CVJ box design is always impressive, and with Shadow Blade they got it just right. On the front we can see a cute anime girl, along with the company and the model names, and the main purposes. While on the back we can see the specifications and manufacturer info. Inside the box we are immediately greeted by anime girl postcard in envelope from CVJ, which completely follows the design of the front part. The Shadow Blade kit is really rich, so we have the shells themselves, a modular cable with the pin connectors, a wired mic, 2 boxes of Eartips, a nice carrying case, a few replaceable nozzles for different sound profiles, a USB Type-C plug and USB adapter, a few dampening forms to improve bass impact, a splitter, and a pretty good anime girl keychain. Seriously? For $70 this is everything you need and you won't have to buy anything else, even if you're a beginner in IEMs. That's impressive. The cable in the Shadow Blade deserves special attention. It's a silver braided OFC cable with a modular connection, so you can use them with your phone through 3.5, with your console via Type-C, or with the PC using adapter. It feels quite soft, light and flexible, with minimal memory effect, but not tangle at all. One thing I didn't like is the weird shape of ear hooks, but the rest of it is a really decent 2-meter cable. The main feature is a volume control and detachable mic that pick up sounds around it. Well, let's check how it sounds.
And this is how CVJ Shadow Blade mic sounds like.
Okay, the included ear tips is a standard set that includes 3 pairs of white ear tips with a regular bore and 3 pairs with a wider one. They are made of quite stiff silicone, don't hold its shape well and create kinda discomfort. In terms of sound, the only difference is the wide bore ear tips make the sound more open, with emphasis on vocals and treble, which isn't fit for this set, so in this review I'll be using the regular bore ones. Now let's get back to the shells. They are made of zinc alloy and available in a matte black or silver with a glossy finish, which I have. They feel light, large and heavy, but sturdy and solid. Their design is minimalistic, with Shadow Blade engraved on the front and several vents on the top. On the inner side we can see a replaceable nozzles, which is quite wide and tall for balanced sound, and a small vent. You can also change the nozzles for different sound profiles, gold ones for a more transparent sound, or black ones for more bass boost. While on the side we can see a 2-pin connection, channel indicators and another hole for additional airflow. Despite the large and heavy shells, the Shadow Blade fits perfectly. Thanks to their ergonomic shape, the shells fit snugly in the ears, creating a deep and secure fit without discomfort. As you know, I have small ears and it's really challenging for me to find the comfy fit, so I was surprised that the Shadow Blade fits me perfectly. That's why I can recommend them to all users, regardless of ear size, and the isolation is decent, so street noise won't get through. But it's not a vacuum, so your ears won't hurt. Alright, let's jump to the most exciting part of this review, is the sound impressions, starting with the graph to understand their tuning. Well, we can see here a rather U-shaped sound signature with clear emphasis on lows and upper mids, while the mid-range resets slightly. You probably noticed this sharp dip at 120 Hz, so this is where the vibration unit zone ends, smoothly transitioning into the lower mids. The mid-range here remains slightly distant, with the natural rise to the upper mids, and the upper region is wave-like, hinting at a dark, almost invisible upper frequency delivery. But how is actually sound? Let's find out. The first things that hit your ears and even your body is the vibration unit performance. It syncs with the bass, adding a tactile rumble, which feels like you're in a real concert or right in the middle of a game action. But don't think this is just a marketing trick. The vibrations really enhance the emotionals, especially in EDM, hip-hop or explosive gaming moments. And speaking generally about the sound delivery, it's lively, tactile and spacious. I would call it neither aggressive nor hyper-analytical, but immersive, with bright emphasis on lows and haptic feedback from the vibration driver, which adds physical impact. However, there is one nuance. The vibration cannot be turned off, so in quiet tracks it can be slightly distracting, like the light rumble of distant thunder. Overall, this sound is not about technicality and detail, but more about involvement and drive, with excellent resolution for the price. So let's take a closer look at their sound. Well, let's start with the bass, because that's the Shadow Blade's main feature. And here we have a hybrid setup, a 10mm DD and vibration unit that acts as a tactile effect. And damn it, it works! The sub-bass feels like a deep, atmospheric rumble that adds emotional without drowning out the rest. It doesn't hit you in the head, but gently impressed in the mood of the track, creating a feeling of immersion. When I listened to that step, the bass was followed by a slight vibration, like a tiny subwoofer in my ears. It's not just sound, but a feeling like the bass touching your skin, adding liveliness to the track. For example, during the drops, you can feel the vibration amplify each beat, making it almost tactile. In EDM tracks, each kick is a pure bliss. Fast, texture, with a decay that echoes away without leaving a trace of mud. However, in the sub-bass the vibration unit works delicately, not driving attention to itself, but only emphasizing the div created by dynamic driver. It's like a light push that doesn't break the rhythm, but makes it more alive. Mid-bass is tight, punchy and energetic hit with reverb. It adds weight and drive, but without any hint of blurriness or rumble. In rock, every drum hit is a pure ecstasy, with a clear attack and decay, where the vibration adds a tactile boost, like you're hitting the drums yourself. In EDM, the mid-bass is fast, textured, with pulsating energy that rocks but doesn't overwhelm other frequency. The vibration unit is revealed in full here. Each kick feels like a light punch to the ear, amplifying the rhythm and making it alive. I won't stay long on the mid-range, because frankly, it doesn't impress me. The mid-range here is too warm and soft, a little muddy and kinda flat. It doesn't touch the soul or catch your attention. The vocals, though clear, seem slightly pressed, like their lack of space to reveal themselves. Here just sound good without giving me goosebumps. Instruments such as piano or guitar are delivered without the sparkle that makes the sound come alive. I tried different nozzles from the set, but even the gold ones didn't add the crystal clarity you expect from good IEMs. For $70 this may be okay, but as an audiophile used to Kivier's SimGod or ZGod, I felt that mid-range that doesn't reach the level of its competitors. It's not bad, but it's not wow either. Yet this mid-range will suit gamers who care more about immersion from the bass and explosion than the nuances of the vocals. And for music lovers who listen to a bassy genres like rock or pop and don't dig into the details. But if you're like me and love to dig into the details of vocals or enjoy every chord, the Shadow Blade might leave you a little disappointed. They didn't fail, but they didn't win me over either. They're just my impressions, guys. Try them for yourselves, everyone's ears are different. The treble is dark and extended, with soft, unobtrusive accent that add airiness to the sound without stealing the spotlight. It's not bright or piercing, rather delicately complementing the overall V-shaped sound signature, where bass and vocals play the leading roles. To be clear, if you're expecting the sharp or detailed treble, the Shadow Blade may seem a little subdued. But for most listeners, this is huge plus, as they are not tiring, don't hurt your ears, and create a comfy, enveloping atmosphere. However, at high volumes, this dark extended treble can be slightly noticeable, especially if the source is bright. After an hours of listening, I noticed a slight tension, but it's not tiring. With the black nozzles, this effect is smoothed out and the treble becomes even more velvety and cozy. Guys, the Soundstage is spacious, but don't expect the reach of hybrid models. Instead, the Shadow Blade focuses on deep, with spacious sound and a clear sense of front and back, which is ideal for immersing yourself in single games, movies or music with a rich atmosphere. The vibration unit enhances the effect of presence, so you don't just hear every low beat, but feel like a light shaking your chest, making the soundstage feel alive and cinematic. Now when it comes to separation, the Shadow Blade fell short. The instruments and sound in a scene are separated, but they feel slightly blurred. For example, on the complex tracks, the vocals, guitar and cymbals are clearly distinct, but in complex moments, where there are many instruments, they're slightly merged in the single canvas. It's not a mess, but it's not perfect clarity either. In games, the separation becomes a more noticeable aspect. For single games such as Cyberpunk or God of War, the scene is gorgeous, with city sounds, footsteps, dialogue and explosion creating the atmosphere, and low frequency vibration making everything even more cinematic. But in faster FPS games such as CS2, the positioning of footsteps and shots becomes less distinct. Visualization is at normal level, allowing you to understand where the sound is coming from, but it's not perfectly accurate, creating an illusion of space. In movies, for example, explosion and wind noise are felt as layers, vibration adds tactile feel, and deep draws you in. In music, strings stretch from afar, and vibration enhance immersion. In FPS games, enemy footsteps can be heard, but it's harder to pinpoint their exact location than with top-end IEMs. For esports, where you need pinpoint accuracy, the Shadow Blade isn't the best choice. But for single games, where atmosphere is important, it's just right. So, in conclusion, the CVJ Shadow Blade are IEMs with portal to immersive world, where sound come alive and vibration. Deep bass, warm mids, but dark treble with a spatial soundstage makes them ideal for single games, movies and music, where emotions are important. For $70 you get a premium build, rich kit and sound that hooks you from the first tracks. Not for FPS or analytics, but if you like me, love bass response, games or immersive movies, then grab them without hesitation, you won't regret it. However, for audiophiles seeking for details or FPS shooters, it's better to look for some alternatives. In the end, I fell in love with their tactile atmosphere, and I'm sure you will too. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the review, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video, stay tuned and bye bye.